Place.
It is.
Indeed. All right, let's pick up our conversation. I want to send it over to Joe Bell with Schaeffer's Investment. I know you're bullish. So nobody is willing to go out, except for Barron's Magazine, for what it's worth, and call this stock drive a bubble. I know you're bullish. Your S&P target rate, 1850. Characterize this market as it closes today.
I think the other guests mentioned it or described it perfectly. I think we're up near some psychological round number levels. I think you couple that with the fact that we had a strong end to last week, actually the 7th consecutive positive week on the S&P 500. So a bit of strong positive momentum. I think short term here, perhaps a little check back to 1775 would make sense on the S&P 500, or at least a little bit of a consolidation here. But I think bigger picture, I think we're kind of in the beginning stages of all these institutions, whether you're talking about hedge funds, mutual funds, or even pension funds, and even really the retail investor trader, starting to get back into this market. I think this is sort of that transition phase where all that money that sort of doubted this market for a lot of years has really started to flow off the sidelines in 2013. And I think, like I mentioned before, I think we're just in the early stages of that. I think we're going to see that continuation through the end of this year and the next few months into 2014
Yeah, but Scott,
as well.
a lot of people, I'm sorry, Joe, a lot of people say when the retail investor with mom and pop start hopping into the market, that's a sign for the smart money to run for the exits, no?
It's a sign or it's a warning signal to be on the lookout. But one interesting thing, that, like I mentioned, I think we're just in the early stages of that, because when you look at the previous few years, really especially like the equity mutual fund outflows, the money that's been put back in, I think last stat I saw was about 7 consecutive months of inflows back into those mutual funds. So the retail investor are dipping their toes back into this market. But when you look at that, it's only still about 5% of the money that was taken out. So I think the money's starting to be put in. But until we see we sort of see that overwhelming optimism where nobody sort of sees a ceiling for the market.
Joe,
and